conspiracy theories that the left comes up with to explain what Trump's doing to take the collusion story off the front page. These people are funnel. I mean, they're hilariously insane and getting better. Or worse, depending.
Hi, Rush. Thank you so much for taking my call.
My pleasure.
I am irate, if you want to be honest. I am a blogger. I'm a political blogger. And I wrote over 200 blogs for this man, for President Trump, in favor of him, on what he campaigned on. And what I'm saying these past couple weeks, I voted for Team Bannon. I did not vote for the president's daughter. I did not vote for Jared Kushner, two Democrats.
Now, wait, hold it just a second. Sean, you had to know, because it happened in a campaign, you had to know that Ivanka and Jared have his ear. You had to. I mean, I know what you mean, so you weren't voting for them, but you know that, I mean, that's family. You know that they've got his ear and that he's loyal to them.
I knew they would have his ear. I did not know they would have so much pull. Because, it's like just recently it came out that Kevin Hassett is coming on board. Well, he's for outsourcing. Trump was supposed to be anti-immigration, anti-outsourcing. He's flip-flopped within the past few days. I mean, NATO, he was against it. Now he's for it. China, controls the currency. I mean, now no, America. And it's like, and then this bombing in Syria, at first I was like, you know what? Yes, I guess we had to do it. But then I'm hearing rumors that Ivanka saw the pictures of the baby, and Ann Coulter made a great point. She said Republicans don't do things for humanitarian reasons. I mean, there are children dying everywhere. There are children being shot in Chicago. I mean, is Ivanka going to say, hey, Daddy, go to Chicago and bomb Chicago because people are getting shot? I mean, and I know that's obviously a gross exaggeration, but it's very upsetting. I mean, I am talking to a man that's a Kurdish fighter for Kurdistan, and I'm asking him about the gassing in Syria. You know what he said to me? And he's fighting with our men against ISIS. He's sending me videos of what's going on the battlefield. I mean, these guys don't mess around. They're killing ISIS. He hates ISIS. He hates Assad. He'd like America to come in and get rid of Assad. And I said something about the people that were gassed. He said, I don't care about them. They're Arab pigs. And I'm thinking, then who are you? It's a mess over there. And it's like, it would be great in a perfect world to make a safe world and a better world for everyone. But, I mean, we spent $95 million. I think that's the figure for the Tomahawk missiles. And what did we accomplish? That we're strong and that we're not going to watch people suffer? People are suffering every day. That $95 million, hey, could have helped fund the failing Obamacare. I mean, the president has not passed one piece of domestic legislation. Has he done some good things? Yes, he has. Am I still behind him? Yes, I am. But I have some valid concerns. I voted for a non-establishment, a non-globalist, a non-Democrat. I voted for a Republican. I voted for someone who was gonna bring back the middle class, and tax reform isn't going to be until next year, until after Obamacare. The wall, that's been on the back burner. I'm upset.
I hear that. Loud and clear. What I was before you were halfway through, I was thinking of trying to play devil's advocate with you on a couple of things, but you have covered the spectrum. You want me to play devil's advocate just in a couple things and get your take on?
Yes, I would. I would love your take.
Well, it's not my take. I just want to give you another way of looking at something and see how you react to it. Let's talk about NATO. And I've mentioned this earlier today, so if you've heard it, folks, please beg your indulgence while I go through it here with Sean. During the campaign, you're right. The president complained loudly that we were doing dumb things in NATO because most of the member states were not paying their fair share, that we were paying much of way outside burden, and we weren't getting anything for it, and it was stupid and dumb, and if it didn't change, then NATO may as well just go away. So people hear that. Right on, man. Right on. We don't need to prop up these socialist democracies that won't pay their fair share. Right on, Trump, you go. Now, Trump says all this, and he raises hell, and then he starts calling them out for not paying their dues. Now, guess what? These nations, all of a sudden, we got a statement today from the NATO Secretary General that all of these nations Trump called out are now stepping up and paying their dues, meaning they're spending 2% of GDP on defense, or they're intending to, they're allocating it. And so, in that sense, Trump is now saying NATO's okay because he made everybody play straight and contribute their fair share and essentially saved it. And he would tell you that his opener here during the campaign, ripping into NATO as something worthless and outmoded, was simply to get people to step up, pay their fair share, and he's done that, and therefore this is a success, not a flip-flop. If somebody explained it to you that way, what would your reaction be?
Then I would say he's a great manipulator, and he accomplished what no one else has been able to accomplish. And,
Okay, let's go to the Chi-Coms. You mentioned the Chinese and currency manipulation. And you're right. All during the campaign, he beat up China every day. He beat them up on the currency manipulation. He beat them up on trade. He beat them up on outsmarting our own negotiators. And he said it wasn't going to go on any longer. Now, all of a sudden, guess what happens? He has a meeting with the Chi-Com leader at Mar-a-Lago. He has a phone call with the Chi-Com leader, and the Chi-Com leader is now telling the North Koreans to stand down or the Chinese are going to abandon them. Now, that has to be, no matter how you look at it, that has to be looked at in certain ways as a success, because I'll guarantee you this, Sean, there is no way Barack Obama, I don't know anybody else, who would have made the Chinese, convinced the Chinese to abandon their communist blood brother North Koreans. So, yeah, he can say, I was threatening them. I told them what for. I told them we're going to screw around. They keep manipulating the currency. We're going to get it back in the way we trade. And now he's converted this Xi Jinping leader in China into, well, it's all apparent. I mean, the threat that they made to North Korea is real. And North Korea has been out there launching missiles. They haven't been aiming them right, but they're threatening to do all kinds of things to us. And Trump threatened them, and the Chinese told the North Koreans he's not bluffing. Do not think he's bluffing. The Chinese went to the North Koreans and said, do not look at this guy the way you looked at previous presidents. He intends to take you out if you keep this up. Now, people would tell you this is a success in terms of foreign policy with the Chinese.
Okay. No, I agree. Like I said, he's done some good things, but it's just, it's hard to.
Let's look at Syria.
Everything.
Let's look at Syria. You made the point that we can't go everywhere where there's suffering, children suffering. We shouldn't have Ivanka, because she sees pictures that make her cry, go to the president and him bomb the people responsible for it. The reason you have a serious complaint here is Trump's tweets during the campaign. There were numerous tweets, and I'm sure you remember them, where he basically told Obama, don't go into Syria. It's a no-win. You don't even know if you're going to hit the right target. If you hit the wrong target, you got a bigger mess than ever. We need to spend that money in America, put America first, make America great. Don't waste it in Syria. And yet here he is launching 59 Tomahawks into Syria. But what is the message sent? That those 59 Tomahawks, while the Chi-Com leader is having dinner with Trump at Mar-a-Lago, probably went a long way to convincing the Chi-Com leader to tell the North Koreans, look, this guy's a madman. You can't look at him as previous. If he says he's going to take you out, he's not bluffing. So those missiles at launch into Syria, it sends messages to Russia. It sends a message to the Norks and to the Chinese. And we've had 8 years of passivity with Barack Obama, where whatever anybody around the world wanted to do to America, we just huffed and puffed and did nothing. And with Donald Trump, you want to do something to America, there's going to be a price. And if you offend our sensibilities and say it's a wanton violation of human rights like gas attacks, we're not going to put up with it. And says and does what he does. So the question is, are these flip-flops and betrayals, or is it something else? And you've decided that they're flip-flops and betrayals, and you're not happy with it.